What is true of the mind? What if I told you that your deepest pain is your greatest teacher? Is true of the mind that the darkness you're running from holds the map to who you truly are? This isn't about escaping suffering. This is about understanding it. We all go through hell. Some of us are just better at hiding the burn marks. Pain is universal. Loss, heartbreak, betrayal, fear. You felt them. So have I. But here's the truth they don't teach you in school. Pain doesn't break you. It reveals you. Every tear you've shed, every night you couldn't sleep, every moment you felt like giving up, that wasn't weakness. That was your soul begging you to wake up. Because suffering is the invitation to meet yourself, to strip away the masks, true of the mind, to discover who you truly are beneath the noise, the pressure, the expectations. Mind. Why do we remember the tough times more vividly than the good? Because pain has clarity. It forces you to look inward, to confront the parts of yourself you were too afraid to see. And in that confrontation, you find the truth. So today, we're not running from suffering. We're going into it. Because on the other side is freedom. Let me tell you a story. A young man, 24 years old, bright, driven. Everyone said he was destined for greatness. But behind closed doors, he was drowning. He had just lost his father. His business failed. His relationship ended with silence and a text message. And one night, sitting alone on the floor of his tiny apartment, he whispered the words no one ever wants to say, Jay, I don't know who I am anymore. But in that silence something stirred. Not a voice, not a sign, just stillness. And for the first time, he didn't distract himself with his phone, his friends, or fake positivity. He just sat with the pain, the mind, and slowly, piece by piece, he began to ask, who am I without my titles? Who am I without validation? Who am I in this suffering? That young man, he didn't end his story that night. He began it. Because in losing everything, he found the one thing no one could take away. Self-awareness. Pain had become his mirror. And in it, he saw his real reflection. You see, suffering strips you down. But that's not the end. That's the beginning of you. Let's zoom out. Ever heard of Nelson Mandela? 27 years in a prison cell. Cold concrete, isolation, injustice. Most people would come out broken, bitter, angry. But not Mandela. Because while they imprisoned his body, his mind stayed free. He studied, reflected, grew, and when he was finally released, he didn't seek revenge. He led an entire nation to peace. How? Because suffering didn't destroy him, it defined him. You see, this true of the mind, the suffering isn't punishment, it's preparation. Mandela's prison wasn't the end of his journey, it was the furnace that forged his soul. So when life breaks you, remember Mandela. Because sometimes, the worst through the mind, the worst things that happen to Yog, are the best things that happen for you. Think back to your hardest moment, when you felt lost, alone, crushed, under the weight of life. You're still here, you're breathing, true of the mind. You're watching this video, you made it through, so don't tell me you're weak. You are warrior made, but maybe you've been lied to. Told to hide your pain, told to pretend, to smile, to move on. No more, because your pain is sacred. Every scar tells a story, every wound holds wisdom. The heartbreak, it taught you self-worth. The failure, it taught you resilience. The loneliness, it taught you self-love. What if suffering isn't the enemy? What is true of the mind? What if suffering is the doorway to your deepest self? The part of you that's unshakable is true of the mind. The part of you that doesn't need applause to feel worthy. The part of you that knows, I am enough. even in my darkest hour. You know the myth of the hero. Every hero's journey starts with a call to adventure, but what follows? Always the same pain, trials, doubt, fear. But they keep going because true of the mind, not because they're fearless, but because they're willing to face the dragon, willing to suffer of the mind, willing to become more than who they were. And guess what? You're on that same path. Your pain is your call. Your suffering is your training ground. Your heartbreak is your transformation. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. Because the world doesn't need more perfection. The world needs more truth. More people willing to say, yes, I've been through hell, but I didn't come back empty-handed. So what now? You've felt the pain. You've walked through the fire. But this time don't run from it. Sit with it. Learn from it. Let it through the mind, let it show you who you are. Because one who understands suffering understands the self. And when you understand the self, no one can control you. No failure can define you. No fear can hold you. So rise, not as someone untouched by life, but as someone forged by it. Take your pain, your scars, your story, and own it. The true of the mind. Let it make you bold, let it make you kind, let it make you unstoppable, is true of the mind. Because the most powerful person in the room is not the one who hasn't suffered, is true the mind. It's the one who has and chose to rise anyway. Now it's your turn. If this spoke to your soul, share it. Someone out there needs to hear this today. And if you're still breathing, you still have purpose. Let's rise together.